Hey guys, Fox here, and today we're going to be talking about some of the big things that came out the past couple days regarding the UFL Season 2. I know I said this was going to come out probably Monday. Well, I'm doing it Saturday. Look, there's some big announcements that came out over the past few days regarding Year 2 of the UFL. I think it's time we start talking about them. So without further ado, let's get started with the first one being what Daryl Johnson said, which is that Year 2 of the UFL will have the exact same 8 teams in the same overall markets. Now, there is one big caveat, and that is the Michigan Panthers very well could be playing in a different stadium. It'll be somewhere else in Michigan. Remember, they're the Michigan Panthers, not Detroit Panthers. So will they go to EMU? Will they go to Ann Arbor? Will they go to Spartan Stadium? Who knows? Will they stay in Ford Field? That's what I want them to do, but we'll see what they do. Overall point is the league is sticking with the same 8 places, same 8 teams, the smart decision. Look, I mean, no offense if you're a fan of the Dragons, Breakers, Maulers, Stars, and all those teams and all that, but this is the smart move for the league to do. Look, I've talked about before, this is the common sense approach. What has been the biggest issue with the UFL this season? Attendance. What is the best way to fix attendance? Marketing locally. What is the UFL consistently being hated on for not doing? Marketing locally. If you add even just 2 teams, you are adding on to the issue you already have. Just because you throw a team in Omaha or you bring back the Dragons, you don't necessarily know you're going to get good attendance for it. You're going to have to put in the work to make sure you get good attendance. St. Louis is not an example for how to make good attendance. St. Louis was the first time you ever had a team in one of these WFL, USFL type of leagues to ever play in St. Louis. They got spurned by the Rams. So for them to have good attendance, they are an anomaly. They're not an example. So when you have these other team or the other 7 teams not doing well in attendance, if you bring a team to even Omaha, if you hit 10,000 in Omaha, you're doing a hell of a great job at marketing because you couldn't do that for a bunch of these teams currently. So the fact is, this is the smart move to do by the league. You need to get good at actually marketing locally. You need to make all these teams, at least most of them, improve in attendance from year 1 of the UFL to year 2 of the UFL. Look, some people like to say, well, the Stallions have been around 3 straight years. Well, the Brahmas have been around 2 years. Look, they haven't had this schedule before. If you're a Birmingham Stallions fan, you're used to the season starting in mid to late April, not, the very end of March. Or if you're an XFL fan of a team, you're used to the season starting, mid-early February, not late March. So these attendance number, or the attendance, being bad, it's not because of the fact that, oh, well, it's just these markets aren't good. It's because you have trust, you have issues with the schedule, and you have issue with tickets coming available. Look, Moose even talked about it. You had Houston and Michigan get their tickets out like a week before the game happened. And you expected attendance to be good? Look, I've talked about it before. The fact that Michigan had as good attendance as they did this year, despite seeing their ticket prices increase from last year, despite having the issue of when they were available, is remarkable. It is why Michigan, I think, is becoming the most hated on market for no real reason. They were one of, if not the only markets to actually improve in attendance from last year to this year across either league. So yes, it was still only going up from, a few thousand to almost 10,000, but it still is improvement despite everything going against it. Overall, though, when you look at it, this is the smart move by the league. Don't add to a problem. You have a issue. Don't add on to the problem, right? If your car isn't working because you have an issue with the engine or you have an issue with, one of the wheels, don't give it a paint job. You're just wasting money giving it a paint job when you can't even drive the thing. You know what I mean? Why add a bathroom to a bedroom when the bedroom has a floor that's sinking in? It's common sense. And I think that's a genius move by the league to say, hey, we're not doing what we need to do with these 8 markets, or really 7 markets that are poor. Let's take the year to give it a full offseason. Let's view this first year as a 0.5 season and this upcoming year as the year 1 season. If you view it like that, you understand that this is a smart move. You get a full offseason to actually plan ahead what you want to do. Get the schedule out earlier. Get tickets out earlier. Get things ready. We'll see how well the league does it, but this is a very smart move. I'm very glad the UFL is sticking with 8 teams. As long as they see improvement, we can expect expansion in 2026. Now, the next thing is from the Ben Fisher article. We're going to look at the main tidbits from James Larson. I will have a link in the description for the full article. The first one is that the UFL was not profitable in year 1, but is ahead of projected pace for sustainability, according to Eric Shanks. Not really shocked by either of those. The fact is the attendance number was not as great as you wanted, but as we talked about before, the social media numbers were unbelievable, and despite what some people might say, that is a big deal. You are getting money from social media. So to see the numbers be as good as they were, and the TV ratings be as good as they were, and the U.S. Army sponsorship helping out, Great to see that the league is projected to be sustainable much faster than what Eric Shanks expects. When you see that wording, that is saying this league will be around. If you see it's not projected to be on pace, that's bad. But being ahead of pace, that's great for fans of the league. That's how you can assume that the league's going to be around 5+ years. Now, this is the big one. The UFL's long-term goal in regards to ownership is to get MLS-style owner-operator arrangements. For those of you who don't know what that is, this is not what Steven's been talking about in local investors in a Green Bay Packers sort of way, or what I've been talking about in a sole ownership. What local investors and an owner-operator management is just like the MLS. The MLS technically owns every team. It also controls every contract. The owners of a certain team don't necessarily own the team. They own the rights to operate the team and are shareholders of the league itself. So what does that exactly mean? What it really means is that if you were to go to buy an MLS team, you essentially are buying the rights to operate said team, get the GM, get players to sign and all that. But everything you do goes through the MLS itself, and you're also now a shareholder of the MLS, and you are revenue sharing. That's what it means. It's revenue sharing. So if, let's say, Smith was to go buy the Showboats, he would become an operator of the Showboats and would become part owner of the league. So a way the league can do this to keep control is, do like the TKO merger with, the UFC and WWE kind of deal, where you make all the owners, Danny Garcia, The Rock, Fox, Redbird, Disney, all make this one little parent company called UFL Corp or something, and they own 51% of the league. Then the rest of the 49% of the league, you can sell shares of, you can sell ownership to, so where you always have full control over the league because you have majority power. That's what you can do. And again, this allows you to, get people to buy teams or invest in teams to where you're not having to shell out as much money. It's revenue sharing. It's a smart way to make it. You can also, incentivize people to go to the league to say that, it's revenue sharing. You're not going to lose as much money as you potentially could if, a team were to fail. And this also protects you from teams getting disbanded unless the league decides, hey, we don't want it. That's a very smart move, and I really do think that's a genius way to do it. Now, more investments will be made into local level sales teams in each market to increase tickets sold and local engagement. This is what we were very worried about. This whole, seasonal contracts, will the league actually try during the offseason, what we were worried about. Seeing that more investments will be made in local sales teams is a very big deal. This is showing that the UFL's management understands, hey, we completely failed at local marketing, right? Whether it be in Birmingham, Memphis, San Antonio, people in the city don't even know we exist. This is how you're going to fix that. Pay people to do their job. Go market for the team at local sporting events and just gas stations and, meetings, whatever. Doing something like this is a big deal, and I think it's a very smart move for the league to understand, hey, this is an issue we had last year. Let's, focus in on it and fix it. And then the UFL wants to increase the number of games on broadcast TV in 2025. Look, this is good news. You want to increase games on broadcast TV, you could easily say, no, let's just stick the same. When you're doing this, you're showing more of an investment to the league. Again, one of the things that people fail to realize about this league is that it's not just about how much money they're making, it's about how much they're saving. Remember, Fox is going to have UFL games on Friday nights. They no longer have to pay for SmackDown. Instead, they are getting their own league on Fox, right? It's how FS1's getting extra programming without paying anything. They're part owners of the league, so these games being broadcast on these TVs, on these channels, the actual channel is not paying anything for it. That is a big deal. That is money that the company is saving. Money that Fox is spending to get IndyCar on Fox, that's money that they, are saving by not having, WWE SmackDown. That's money that they're saving by having the UFL instead. Now, yes, there are questions about how the UFL is going to be. My hope and a lot of other people's hopes is that one game every week is on Friday night at a specific time, and then one game every week is on Saturday or Sunday for Fox. And then that is, a 20-20 even split for the regular season. Hopefully that's the case. Will it be? Who knows? That's hopefully the goal. So overall, I think these are really great things to hear. I'm very happy with all these. Seeing Eric Shanks say the league is becoming sustainable on a faster rate than expected. Seeing the end goal being to get owner-operator management is a very genius way. This allows you to get essentially an owner without all the risks of having an owner. Just look at the OG USFL with how owners would spend money they didn't have and ended up causing the issue with how Trump became so powerful in the league because people didn't want to follow the Dixon plan. They wanted to spend money. This eliminates that from happening Because then if an owner's like, hey, I'm going to pay this guy, 6 figures, the league can say, well, we own the contract. No, you ain't. And it's simple. So overall, this is all great news to hear. Yes, it does suck that we're not going to see teams return. But the fact that they're kind of worrying this in a sense that they understand they have an issue, they need to fix it, that shows they want to be ready for next year. Or I guess we should say in 2 years. So in 2026, we should be seeing expansion. If we don't see it in 2026, then we can start to have actual questions and concerns about the long-term expansion and all that. But them doing it this year is just a smart move. You have issues. Fix the issues, then add to it. So that'll pretty much do it for this video. This has been Zomfox. If you enjoyed this content, make sure to subscribe and hit the bell. I'm going to be planning to upload a video every couple days. I know we're during the off season, so it's going to be a bit slower and all that. But we still got a lot of stuff to talk about. We still have, the playoff game tier list coming out next week, as well as other stuff. Think about becoming a channel member for 99 cents a month. And as always, guys, have a great night.